They're fired up and they're ready to go. Guys, back to you.
Can Washington complete its undefeated season, or will Guthrie knock them off? JV, you ready to go?
We're ready to go, and it should be a good one.
Kickoff coming up right here on Cox Communications. We're local like no one else. Just getting ready to start. Mick Cornett, J.V. Haney up in the booth. Rod Thompson, Steve Marshall will be reporting during the game from the sidelines. And there you see Rafe Watkins, the Guthrie head coach in his second year. Doing pretty well there, 19-5 as head coach of the Blue Jays. The opposing coach tonight is Antoine Jimerson, and he's got an even better record in his second year. He's 21-4 in charge of the Hornets. Guthrie won the toss and deferred its decision until the second half. The Hornets said they'll take the ball. And the 5A state championship game is underway. High kick taken by Meachem at the 18-yard line. And he's tackled at the 12-yard line. Well, that's the guy they want to have the ball.
You know, that's one of the few times that Robert Meachem has taken any kind of a kickoff or a punt and not had more positive yards than that. And certainly he is the key to the game, and Mick, that should really give the Blue Jays a little inspiration right there.
Here's Booker T on offense. McClellan is the quarterback. Jones, Young, Evans, Cheney, and Meachem. Skill position players up front. They're big. Look at Montoya, 315 pounds. Here we go. 1st and 10 at the 12. First snap of the game. McClellan under center. 2 running backs. And they give it to Young over the right side, and he's up to the 13-yard line. Check that. That's Felix Jones, number 2. But Guthrie's defense is right there. Here they are. Up front, Smith, Van Houten, Dietrich Laws, and Ryan Spate. Linebackers are Rush, Smith, and Murillo. Secondary, Pearson, Shoemaker, Garrett, and Jones. Loss of a half a yard. We'll call it 2nd down and 10 from the 12.
And that was Jarrell Smith, who has had 91 tackles, who made it.
That's Young again on the wingback reverse. He's tackled at the 14-yard line. Correct that. That's Meachem on a wingback handoff. Gained a couple of yards, but it's 3rd and long.
You'll find Meachem setting up in different positions on the offense that the Hornets run. They run a pro-style spread offense, and you'll find him all over the place.
3rd down and 8. Starting quarterback is Kenneth McClellan. 3 wide receivers to the right, 1 left, 1 lone running back behind McClellan. And he wants to throw. Looking way downfield. Incomplete. Great defense by Keenan Webb. Probably the best cover guy in their secondary. Got good size, too. 6'3", 180 pounds, and he was there on the play, JV.
Yes, and you notice he had a lot of time to throw it, and his receiver down there was Quentin Cheney. Now, Quentin Cheney is 6'6" and 190, and he's a great big target to come in there, but good, solid defense by the secondary from the Guthrie Blue Jays, especially Keenan Webb.
Punt lands short. Webb and Young get away from it from Guthrie, but the Blue Jays are going to have excellent field position for their first offensive possession of the game. They'll start at the 50.
And, you know, you can look in this game, anytime Keenan Webb gets his hands on the football, he's had like averaging 57 yards per return.
Guthrie offensively. DeMarco Jones is a key player. Jones and Wagner are his running backs. He'll throw it to Hudson, Webb, and Shoemaker. Up front, they got size. Washington, Smith, Farrow, Sanders, and Van Houten. 1st and 10 at the 50. DeMarco Jones in the shotgun. Wanting to throw on 1st down, but he's got the green light to run, and he takes off to the 45 and out of bounds at the 44.
That's really going to be a key for the Booker T. Washington Hornets, Mick, is being able to contain DeMarco Jones, the 2 teams that have given them the most trouble.
Defensively, the Hornets stack up like this. Reed, Young, McKinney, and Evans up front. The linebackers are Bradley, Teague, and Tate. In the secondary, Jones, Meachem, Adkism, and Mason.
But Carl Albert and Oklahoma City Douglas has given the Hornets the most trouble, and both of them had a multi-talented quarterback like DeMarco Jones.
2nd and 4. Jones swings it wide to Webb. He breaks the tackle. 1st down up to the 37-yard line. 30th catch of the year for Keenan Webb. He's DeMarco Jones' favorite receiver, and you see why.
And that's quick, and he shows you that he can put the ball where he wants to throw it. Eventually in here, it looks like that the Hornets were able to pursue it real good in there.
37-yard line.
1st and 10 at the 37. Jones stays in the shotgun and keeps to the 35, to the 30, and cracked right there at the 30-yard line after a gain of 7. Jones is the leading rusher and obviously the leading passer on the Guthrie team. He's rushed for over 1,500 yards. He's passed for over 1,300. And JV, he's a good one.
Yeah, look at a great block in there by Levi Van Houten. It just really springs Jones and allows him to get some positive yards out of it.
Gain of 7, 2nd down and 3.
DeMarco Jones may not be very big, Mick, but he sure can carry the football and pick out his spots.
Wagner is his lone running back, but he wants to throw. Hits a slant. It's a 1st down. He's got Keenan Webb again down to the 21-yard line.
Well, Keenan Webb has caught the ball for over 570 yards during the course of the season, scored 6 touchdowns, so he would really be, I would say, the primary target that DeMarco Jones will be looking for throughout the evening.
Quickly to Steve Marshall. Steve, are you there? We'll check with Steve a little bit later. 1st and 10 from the 21, and DeMarco keeps. Spins and down to the 15.
Jones on the keeper. Keith Reed.
Well, DeMarco Jones has been part of every play thus far. He's either thrown the ball or run the ball effectively.
And, you know, then he had a tremendous fake in there to Colby Wagner that looked like he was going to hand it off, and then he brings it back and carries it over the right guard himself. Just a very talented quarterback, DeMarco Jones.
Big Chad Evans there. Chad is 6'4", 250. That's after lunch.
Plays tight end and defensive end. He's a great athlete at Booker T. Washington.
DeMarco's keeping around the right side. To the 15, the 10, the 5. Out of bounds at the 1-yard line. DeMarco Jones.
And he's certainly living up to all of the billing that the Washington Hornets had heard about him. A great talented, and you can see him, he is actually breaking tackles, just sliding through before he's finally taken out of bounds there by Jamel Jones.
First down and goal.
Jamel Jones tackling DeMarco Jones. Let's go down to Steve Marshall.
Hey, we talked about this offense, of course. They had a rough time against the Weatherford Eagles early in the season because DeMarco Jones was always under center. They felt like they had to give him more opportunity to run, put him in the shotgun, and you've seen the result already here this evening. He's really been able to move the football.
1st and goal at the 1. And a penalty marker coming up. Well, let's see what we got. Illegal procedure against the Blue Jays, and that's a killer.
That hurts when you get down that close to the goal line. You know, talking about the offense of the Blue Jays.
On the offense. Replay 1st down.
Coach Antoine Jemerson indicated, he said that he had counted in their scouting reports 103 different sets that the Blue Jays set up. And, of course, when you've got a trigger man like DeMarco Jones driving the train, it makes it a very, very good offense.
Still 1st and goal, but now it's at the 6. DeMarco working out of the shotgun. Bad snap. He retrieves it and circles left. Tripped up at the 15-yard line. Oh, what a defensive play. Keith Reed got him. A huge loss on the play, and Jones can't believe it.
And, you know, I'm sure the fans can see the fog at home, and there's going to be some slippage as far as the hands getting a little cold is concerned, but that's just a trip up. Great move from the defensive end, Keith Reed.
Just inside the 15.
That was a running play. Won't go down as a sack, but Keith Reed has 15 sacks this season. He's a Division I prospect. SMU, Tulsa, and a few others checking him out. 2nd and goal. DeMarco throws a slant, tipped up into the air, a diving effort, and it's intercepted at the 1-yard line. Jamel Jones.
Pass intercepted by Jamel Jones.
Well, you work on this play in practice, the Oski play constantly. If the ball is tipped, most of the time the defense is going to be able to come in there, and that was done very alertly by Jamel Jones, only a sophomore. He'll remember that play.
Guthrie had first and goal at the 1, and then everything went wrong. Now the Hornets have got it, officially at their own 2.
On the 2.
Deep handoff over the left side. The Blue Jays stack them up right there.
Felix Jones out there.
Guthrie runs that 4-3 defense. You can see those 4 down linemen, and they have the ability to play that and follow their reads. Very good-looking defense in the early going here.
Jones was the ball carrier. He got a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9 at the 3. Early going, but field position has really benefited Guthrie thus far. Inside handoff, nowhere to go. Jarrell Smith there for Guthrie. See who's getting up off the bottom of the pile. Looked like they gave the ball to Michael Teague, big senior fullback in the ball game for the first time. Gain of 2, it'll be 3rd and 7. There's Teague checking out.
Jarrell Smith coming in with 91 tackles, and he's already had 2 solo tackles here in the early going of the first quarter, so he truly is the leader out of that middle linebacking position for the Blue Jays.
McClellan goes shotgun. Felix Jones is the running back beside him. Throwing out of his own end zone. Lofting it long. Breaking on the play. Catching the ball. First down for the Hornets. Quentin Chaney went high and brought it down.
Rush.
And, you know, when you take a look, as we said a few minutes ago on Chaney, he's 6'6", 190 pound, a great basketball player. He's got great hands, and if you get it in the area, in most instances, he's going to come down with it, and that was a great play, and I don't think you could fault in any way the defense there by Russell Rush, because you can't go up with a 6'6" guy.
Inside handoff now to Jones. He got a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Boy, Washington's having very little luck running inside, JV, but they keep trying. You just wonder if they're not setting something up to run wide.
Well, you know, they got 2 great linebackers in there, Sam Morello and Jarrell Smith, and you're not going to run too much in there tackle to tackle. At this point, it doesn't look like you're going to.
This time, McClellan has 2 running backs beside him on 2nd down and long. This is Meachem. Up close to a first down. Robert Meachem. Last summer, they said this is the best college prospect in the state, and the senior season is done, and nobody's arguing. Robert Meachem lived up to all the billing.
I think so, and there was some great blocking up front that allowed him to get the yards. And Robert Meachem is the type of a player that every time he touches the ball, you have to think he may go all the way. And you may contain him for a long time, but in most of the games we've seen, he will get one sometime before the night is over.
3rd down and 2. McClellan is under center. 3 running backs behind him. And he hands off. Not sure he got it. Like he gave the ball to Beverly. Let's see. He needed to get just past the 40. And the ball appears to be just short of the 40.
I think that's a good call in there, Mick. I don't believe he could quite stretch it out.
Well, this is a tough position. 4th down, and I'm guessing about a foot at the most. And they're lining up as if they're going to punt it away. There's Antoine Jimerson.
Well, he may feel that they bit the bullet on the first one and not going to take any chances, or they may use a long count, try to draw them off. But they have a very good punter. Kirk Jones does an excellent job.
Averaging 33 yards a punt. Snaps back in good shape. He gets off a low punt. That's bobbled at the 31-yard line. It looked as if the Blue Jays jumped on it, and they retain possession. 4 minutes to play in the first quarter. No score. It's the 5A state championship game in Stillwater. We're back in Stillwater. Hornet fans on the near side of the field saying they're number one and nobody's arguing with her. That's right, your team's undefeated, 13-0. But right now they're playing defense. DeMarco Jones, the Guthrie quarterback, takes the ball and hands off for the first time tonight. And look at Colby Wagner. He's still going. First down, inside Hornet territory at the 42.
Colby Wagner on the carry.
Well, that's the 6th running play of the game for Guthrie. The first time DeMarco's let anybody else take it.
And Colby Wagner, 195-pounder, and he's breaking tackles as he goes through there. Finally chased down by Keith Reed.
Bluejays first and 10 on the 41.
His teammates over there helping him up. That's a good run, and they're proud of him, aren't they? State championship, though. You'll see a lot of enthusiasm.
A fresh set of downs at the 41. Jones in the shotgun. Going long downfield. Got a man at the 10. Touchdown, Keenan Webb.
Keenan Webb. Touchdown, Bluejays. Jones to Webb.
Really a nice throw, and Keenan Webb reacted favorably, coming across to the ball, and then knew what to do with it.
Well, Keenan Webb has been his favorite target all year, and you can see why, because he has great hands and made a good cut on the far side to get open, and of course the DeMarco Jones delivered it perfectly.
Extra points on the way. It's no good. 3 minutes, 20 seconds to play in the first quarter. Guthrie has struck first. They lead the state's #1 team 6-0.
Somewhere behind the...
Thanks a lot, Mick. Right after the change of possession, when that timeout occurred, Rafe Watkins got together with his boys and he said, hey, we've already played the first 8 minutes of this contest and nothing's been settled yet, except for the fact we've proven that we can drive on them. We've proven that we can stop them. Now let's get a 70-yard drive and go score. And that's exactly what they did. Now over to the Booker T sidelines and Rod Thompson.
During the timeout, Antoine Jameson told his team they really have to buckle down. Before the game, he talked about his defense making turnovers. Coming into this game in the playoff run, they only committed 1 and 4-7. He said they got to get back to that and contain the running offense of Guthrie. Guys, back to you.
Stephen Penrod's kick is high, end over end, and taken by Marshall. Stood up at the 25, 26-yard line, and here comes Booker T's offense.
You always think about the psychology in games in the championship finals and how the kids react to maybe scoring first or getting scored up on first and how they come back. And I always like to think that after you fall behind in the first period or wherever it comes in the game in the second period, to see if you can respond and come back and put some points on the board. And if the Blue Jays can hold the Hornets here, the pendulum's certainly in their favor.
3:15 to play in the first quarter. Guthrie leading at 6-0. McClellan keeps over the left side. Good running room up to the 30-yard line. Picked up 5. Guthrie struck quickly. 2 big plays. DeMarco Jones hands off to Colby Wagner.
And Colby Wagner, I mean, he takes the first carry of the game for him, and he made good use of it. And, of course, then they come back, and we got the great pass in there to Keenan Webb for the touchdown.
Guthrie's offense really clicking. They just kind of self-destructed on their opening drive inside the 10. Inside handoff, that's Jones. He needs to get across the 35 for a first down. Let's see where they spot it. I got a feeling it's going to be about a yard short. 3rd and 1 coming up.
And again, Jarrell Smith in there on the tackle. What a great linebacker he's proven to be. 220-pound, 5'10", and only a junior. A lot of football left for him in high school.
Coming up on the 2-minute mark of the first quarter. Handoff inside. That's Young. Easily got a first down up close to the 40. Hey, JV and I'll be keeping an eye on the interior linemen and the linebackers because in the fourth quarter we'll be announcing our Jelco Workman of the Game. JOCO, for work in the great outdoors. Each week we honor an interior lineman or linebacker as our JOCO Workman of the Game. So JV, keep your eye on the interior down there.
And so many times those guys go unnoticed, but they're the heart and soul of a football team. Those 4 down defenders and the offensive line as well.
Pitching it wide and running wide. That's Jones. And he's up to the 42-yard line. Tackle made by Josh Chappell.
Felix Jones is one of the young players that the Washington Hornets have. Only a sophomore. On the stretch play, he doesn't get much out of it.
Gain of 2, second down 8. McClellan in at quarterback. Marshall will play quarterback some. He's more of an option threat. Jones goes in motion. McClellan wants to throw. Over the middle. Incomplete. I think they were looking for Meachem.
Well, you'll see Meachem, he comes out of the right-hand side, but that's just great defensive effort throwing into double coverage there. But DeMarco Jones, you see him getting up. He came back in from his strong safety position to get a hand on the football.
Now
got that hand warmer in there. We may need that hand warmer before the night's over.
That's right. Third down and 8. Final minute of the first quarter. Guthrie leads Booker T. Washington 6-0. McClellan out of his shotgun. Throws on the run and completes it for a first down. Knee touched across the 50 at the 49. Nice catch by Jamel Jones. And a pretty good tackle by Josh Chappell to keep Jones from sprinting down the sidelines.
Chappell, another one of the young players for the Guthrie Bluejays, only a sophomore. Good protection here for the quarterback, McClellan, as he rolls out. Gets a good throw in there. Had a late tackle, then he gets him by the shirt.
Chappell was holding on for dear life, wasn't he?
Kind of like a bulldogger.
This will be the first time Booker T has snapped the ball in Blue Jay territory. Inside handoff. That's Jones. Got a yard or 2. Hey, Guthrie's defensive front is really doing a good job.
Ryan Spate in there doing an excellent job. Kyle Smith, Dietrich Laws, just doing an excellent job down linemen. And of course, those 2 linebackers, they just keep jumping out at you, Sam Morello and Sherrell Smith.
First quarter's coming to a close. We're at the 5A state championship in Stillwater. Guthrie leads Booker T 6-0.
The mountains built for tough.
Guthrie has a touchdown. They lead it 6-0 as we get ready to start the second quarter. Hey, get on your computer because it's time now for the Discover Tulsa Tedford Insurance Question of the Week. Who is the best high school football player in Green Country this season? Cast your vote. Mick Major, Spencer McElwain, Robert Meachem, Paul Smith, Courtney Tennell. Look out here in live action. Meachem's on the run inside the 20.
A little reverse that we just saw there coming up with Robert Meachem is something that's been a big play for them all year long. And of course, Robert Meachem is such a talented runner that he can execute it and make it work.
Got a penalty marker though. It's coming back. Flag is at the 45. It appears to be a spot foul, which, no, looks probably like it's going to be a holding call. Let's see. Yep.
On the offense. Replay the down.
Ball is spotted at between the 45 and 46.
We'll get another look at it right here as the quarterback rolls out and just pitches it all heads left, and then suddenly Felix Jones hands it off to Robert Meachem, and he comes right into the camera, as you can see.
Timeout on the field. Booker T wants to think things over. We'll take a break too. Guthrie leads the state's #1 team 6-0 early in the second quarter. Glad Glad you're with us in Stillwater. Mick Cornett, J.V. Haney with Steve Marshall and Rod Thompson. The 5A state championship game. Washington has the ball, 2nd and 17 at their own 46. Quick pass, complete to Jones. And he's down to the 40, just short of a first down. And it'll be 3rd down and about 2. Number 6, Jamel Jones.
Marco Jones on the stop.
Nice little fake to Robert Meachem going the opposite direction, and then he picks out his receiver, Jamel Jones, on the right-hand side. Nice little work in the backfield there by the quarterback, Kenneth McClellan.
Looked like DeMarco Jones made the stop. 3rd down and 2 from the 40. McClellan out of the shotgun. Throws. Oh, what a strike! Pass is complete to Jamel Jones, and boy, he threw that one right on target for the first down.
McClellan has got that quick arm, and he's only a junior. He'll be back next year, but you're right. That is just a strike right in there. The defense wasn't that bad. Randall Lewis was real close, but he could not stop that in any way.
At the 31-yard line, we have a timeout.
We're going to take a timeout. 10 minutes, 59 seconds to play in the first half. 6-0, Guthrie. It's a little chilly in Stillwater tonight. Fog trying to come in here to Payne County. A little bit tough to see from the press box. McClellan wants to throw, incomplete. Trying to swing that pass out wide to Quentin Cheney. If you missed the first quarter, Guthrie went down the field and scored on a long pass play between DeMarco Jones and number 23, Keenan Webb. They missed the extra point. So far, that has stood up. And, JV, that extra point would have been good on high school goalposts, which are 3 feet wider than collegiate goalposts.
You know, that is a good point. I had forgotten that, but absolutely it would have been good.
And they swing at the other side. Meachem slips at the 33-yard line.
You can see DeMarco Jones real quickly coming up on him along with Kyle Smith. And it seems like that wherever Robert Meachem goes, the Guthrie defense is definitely aware, and they have 2 people that are just going to be right near him at all times. I can't help but think every time DeMarco Jones makes a tackle, the quarterback for Guthrie, that you don't think maybe the coach just cringes just a little bit.
Well, he's pretty important on both sides of the ball, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
3rd and long. McClellan wants to throw it. Steps up in the pocket. Fires a strike downfield, but it's incomplete. He was looking for Jamel Jones and threw it just a little too tall. Excellent protection there by the Hornet offensive line. But McClellan threw it just a little bit too tall.
Really did give Kenneth McClellan plenty of time going right down the middle, but just couldn't quite get in looking for his receiver. It was Jamel Jones, but just couldn't quite get the ball to him.
Well, it would be almost a 50-yard field goal attempt, so they're going to go for it on 4th down and 12. Crowd into this one. They're standing up on both sides of the field. And he's going down. He ran out of time. Ryan Spate and Levi Van Houten finally ran down Kenneth McClellan. JV, he had good protection for a while. That's a coverage sack more than anything.
Oh, that's right. It was just great coverage in the secondary, and he flushed out of the pocket. And once he did that, well, then it was all over. And a 51 in there really was the one who put the hammer on him. Levi Houghton with help from his other players there, Russell Rush. A good defense.
Guthrie takes over at its own 39. 10:04 to play, first half. Guthrie has the ball and the lead. DeMarco Jones keeps it to the 40, to the 43-yard line. Let's go over to the Washington sidelines and Rod Thompson.
Doing that last time out, the coaches from Booker T. Washington really stressed to the offensive line. They got to push off the ball and give the quarterback protection. They did for the last couple of drives, but then the coaches came back. Was really disappointed they didn't convert that 4th down. We'll go over now to the Guthrie side with Steve. Steve?
We were talking about the extra point that was missed on the very first touchdown. That's actually the 4th week in a row that Guthrie has missed their initial extra point. Of course, they also went on to win all 4 of those games as well.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Rod. 2nd down and 7. Penalty marker out. As Guthrie gets a pretty nice run from Colby Wagner.
You know, at this point, it looks like that Colby Wagner is just, they kind of forget him.
Yeah.
He goes about 1 out of every 6 plays, but when he gets the ball, he turns in some very good yardage. Tuggle Bond, the referee, and I've been told that this is his 50th year of calling high school football in the state of Oklahoma.
Wow. I know you and I have done 3 games this season where Tug has been involved. First week 1 and then last week.
He thinks we're following him around, doesn't he?
There aren't going to be too many mistakes with this crew if Tuggo's working with 50 years of experience. Loss of a yard, 2nd and 11.
And I have seen him work in probably 40 of those 50 years, and he never see any trouble, never see any problems, does an excellent job of administering the game, whether it's football or whether it's basketball. He's done both.
If you just joined us, Guthrie quarterback DeMarco Jones has been remarkably successful, running and throwing the football. And this time he's running. To the 40, 45, and falling forward to midfield. And he's got a 1st down, I believe. They knocked down the yardage marker on that side of the field, and now if they stand it up, it appears he has a 1st down. He's something.
Well, he goes in and it looks like they have him. They just slide off from him. Breaks tackles, breaks another tackle right there, and is able to finally get on up before it looked like it was Quentin Cheney came across and really bounced him out of bounds.
This is Guthrie's 3rd possession. Their first possession went all the way down the field. They had 1st and goal at the 1, but did not score. Had a penalty and a sack and wound up throwing an interception. On their 2nd possession, they did get the touchdown, and this is possession number 3, and they've advanced it into Hornet territory at the 49. DeMarco looks left, throwing right, way downfield, incomplete. Excellent defense by, I believe that's Meachem. Webb was the intended receiver. Meachem was with him every step of the way. Well, you might think, well, why are you throwing at Meachem? But there aren't any weak links in that secondary anywhere.
Well, you're going to go with where your strength is to your receiver, and he's going to go to Keenan Webb. And there you can see the leaping ability of Robert Meachem going up. Good defense and a great receiver in Keenan Webb.
2nd down and 10 now.
That's a great matchup.
Indeed. 3 wide receivers left. Jones hands it off. Russell Rush close to the 45.
Let's go, Reggie! Eddie! Not yet!
Just watching Rush in the previous plays, he does a great job of blocking and protecting for the quarterback, DeMarco Jones.
Well, this Washington defense has had an incredible season. But Guthrie is having remarkable success here in the 1st half.
Well, throughout the season, they've allowed 9.1 points per game. And that is great defense for 13 games. But there hasn't been that many DeMarco Jones around.
3rd and 7, quad receivers at the bottom of your screen. DeMarco never had a chance. Did you see Adrian Bradley come in there? Now, Guthrie had a setup, which I'm not sure I've seen before. They had 4 wide receivers in sort of a diamond at the bottom of the screen, and DeMarco never had a chance to look for him.
Well, the blitz coming in from the near side, and it was Adrian Bradley, and no one even touched him. But you talk about the sets. I've noticed already, seems to me like about 15 different sets that they've had, Mick, and that goes back to the point we made earlier that Coach Jimerson said he had seen 103 different Blue Jay sets.
Russell Rush into punt. Gets it away very low. And from that up-top camera there, you can start to see the fog that is rolling into Stillwater. And we're going to take a break. It's tough to see at Lewis Field. The scoreboard reads 6-0 Guthrie. You can see some of the fog now. I want to say also that the cameras that Cox uses are so good that the image depicted on your screen is better than the human eye can portray. So you're seeing the game actually better than JV and I are here from the press box.
We can hardly see the crowd on the other side other than just
There's
the
a
darkness.
crowd over there?
Yeah, there's over there where the darkness is. That you can see those are people moving around.
I don't think it's become a significant factor for the players, but it's starting to for those people who are sitting up high in the stands or in the press box. Handoff on 1st and 10. That was Jones. He's carried the ball more than anybody else on Booker T. Washington's team tonight. That time he didn't get a whole lot.
Well,
They're marking the ball at the 18.
Look at Samarillo, though. He is the one. The middle linebacker comes across, and you can see why he has so many tackles. 107 coming into the night's contest.
I mean, that was a textbook stop. Did you see him put that helmet in there on the side and drive?
I mean,
he leads Guthrie in tackles with 107 entering this game. 2nd and 7. McClellan wants to throw, steps up, throws it long for Meachem. Way downfield, and Meachem makes a whale of a catch down at the 35-yard line. Oh, my goodness.
And, Mick, that's the kind of play that people in Tulsa have seen Robert Meachem make over and over again. Now, this is a good pass you're going to see by Kenneth McClellan. Kind of throws it off balance, showing the strength of his arm. But this catch is just one that he kind of makes routine. And no way you could criticize Cody Garrett, because that's about as good a defense as you could have without total interference.
Midway through the 2nd quarter. This is the deepest penetration for the Hornets. 1st and 10 at the 35. McClellan's got room to run. 1st down. You hear the helmets pop. He's up to the 17-yard line. Kenneth McClellan. He can run and he can throw. They give him the green light to take off whenever he sees fit. And do we have a penalty?
See some laundry on the field.
I don't see the flag, but they're motioning him to come back.
Right here on the near side in the fog.
Oh, yeah. The flag's at the 40-yard line. And this will be the 2nd time that a significant Hornet gain has been brought back by a penalty. Oh, my. So they've moved the ball to midfield. Another holding call. Nice catch, Tug.
Antoine Jimerson, the head coach there, talking to the official.
Ball is smack dab at the 50-yard line at the near hash. 2 wide receivers right, 2 left, 1 running back behind the quarterback, Kenneth McClellan, who's in the shotgun. He swings it out wide, bobbled but caught, and then dropped. Let's see, that's DeMarco Owsley, number 84. They laid off him a little bit. Let's see, mark it at the 41. Referee calls timeout, comes over and talks to Coach Jimerson.
Coach wants an explanation of just exactly what's going on.
He's doing more of the talking. I think he wants to explain something. It appeared that the referee was talking about when he was starting the clock. I thought I saw him motion his hand signal as if he's explaining. It's also possible that the timer can't see the official down on the field to know when to start the clock. Second long at the 41. McClellan looked at Meachem and took off. Up at the 40 and just a little bit more. It'll be 3rd down and long.
Ryan Spate, defensive lineman there, just puts the bear hug on McClellan and stops him right on the spot.
Let's see. There he is. Ran right into it. Well, that's a nightmare when you turn around and see Ryan Spate in your lap. 5'9", 275. Kenneth McClellan's going to go the other way next time.
Yeah, and he tries to stretch your neck out a little bit and take you back where you came from.
3rd down and long at the 40. 2 wide receivers left, 1 right. Make it 2 right. Blitz coming. Picked up, thrown, caught at the 30. Stretching for the first down. Where did they get him down at? Well, that was great effort by Owsley. It looked no way like he was going to get the first down. And in the end, he stretched it out and came up just a yard short.
DeMarco Owsley, he's a junior, 185 pounds, 6'2", and you're right, after he once gets tackled in there, he just keeps stretching, but you see his knees went down before the ball reached up there. Great effort, though. You can't fault the effort.
4th down and 1 at the 26. Lining up to go for it. Meachem hitting the backfield, spins loose, but can't escape. And the Blue Jays have stopped them on 4th down.
And credit Levi Houghton because he was the one that came in and put it on him, even though it was really the blitz by Rush that stopped Meachem and allowed Houghton to come on in. That's good team defense on the part of the Blue Jays.
And there you see the ball carrier, Felix Jones. With a good night, he could reach the 1,000-yard mark for the season. Entered the game with 862. He's got 13 yards thus far. 1st and 10 at the 29. Jones running right. 1st down, Blue Jays. Take a look at this one, JV. Nothing fancy here.
No, but he gets some good blocking on the stretch, but he just really has look at 34 getting out in front of him right there, doing a great job is Colby Wagner. But he's just strong, he's smart. You know, but these two teams every time they snap the ball, you really feel like that it just might be a touchdown.
Steve Marshall.
Thanks a lot. Remember the penalty in the last drive for Guthrie. They're telling DeMarco Jones when he puts his man in motion, he needs to lift his leg up or back, and he's lifting it forward. That's when he got the penalty last time, and he was warned about it just again.
There goes DeMarco. Another 1st down for the Blue Jays.
Cheney having a good game defensively as well as being one of these good wide receivers for the Hornets.
DeMarco Jones, 10 carries for 65 yards.
You know, that's a good explanation that Steve made. Sometimes that would be awful hard to determine, wouldn't it?
There's DeMarco Jones. He's still got it. Penalty marker out. Jones coming near side. Up to the 37. But this has all the look of an offensive penalty.
Illegal formation. We're going that way.
I'm not sure that formation was allowed. Let's see.
I think that's what they're going to call an illegal formation.
Penalty marker came out just as soon as it was snapped. Of course, you can line up in an illegal formation, but if you snap the ball in that illegal formation, that's when they throw the flag.
You know, when you really get a good look at DeMarco Jones to show you just how important he is. You know, not only does he take every snap, Mick, but he runs the football so much of the time. He's throwing the football the rest of the time, and then he's overplaying defense the rest of the time. My goodness, he is one busy football player.
1st and 15, 3 minutes to play in the 1st half. 3 wide receivers right, and DeMarco Jones moves that way. Throws intercepted. Keith Marshall. Number 5, Keith Marshall, the cornerback, with a big interception. He stepped out of bounds and then was hit viciously. And there is a penalty marker on the field. So look for another dead ball call that could move it 15 yards.
That was Colby Wagner that came in and put the stop on him. But, you know, Marshall came back in and acted like he was running. We can't hear, but maybe the whistle had blown over there, if that is the penalty. We'll get another good look at it right here. and see how quickly Marshall steps right up in front of the receiver. Intended receiver looked like it was going to be Jason Shoemaker.
Well, let's go down to Steve Marshall. Steve, what'd you see down there?
Well, from what they're explaining to the officials over here, it's roughing the passer, so that negates the entire interception itself and, of course, the return as well. Still Guthrie football.
Oh, whoa! Oh, what a big play. The interception by Booker T. Washington goes for naught. And the crowd on the near side of the field just now realizing that the big interception by Keith Marshall's not going to count. DeMarco Jones was roughed after he threw the pass, and that nullified everything that happened after that.
Antoine Jefferson there discussing it with the officials.
Well, I mean, that's a change of possession. It's 15 yards that way instead of the other way. First and 10 at the 35. And there goes DeMarco Jones. He may have another first down.
He was brought down in there by Michael Tate. That's a big swing. That's a big momentum swing.
And they're going to bring out the sticks and see if DeMarco got enough. Regardless, Guthrie will move over the 100-yard mark in rushing for the game. It is a first down. You know, there's a handful of breaks that come in every football game, and Guthrie's getting more than its share in the first half.
Well, that was a big one. You know, as you said, you lose possession, you lose field position, and you lose a lot of the momentum that you may have been about to get with the interception.
Hand off up the middle. That's Colby Wagner. And he lost a little yardage. Colby gained 26 on his first carry, lost one on his second carry. There you see Ricky Mason, the cornerback, number 15 for the Hornets. Blue Jays have had a lot of success here tonight. They're going to win the statistical battle in the first half. They lead in the ball game 6-0. Jones has still got it. Big hole. 20 and up to the 17-yard line. And now, JV, they got to start looking at the clock.
The clock comes into play right now. It really does. And also, you call on your defense from the Hornets side that this is a time that they have to stand up and be counted, as the defense has done twice for the Blue Jays here in the first half. Nice block in there, opening up the hole by Chad Sanders.
Sure was. We're going to take a break. The Blue Jays have flown into the Hornets' nest, looking for another touchdown in Stillwater. We'll be right back. Okay. Who's the best high school football player in Green Country this season? Well, you can log on to DiscoverTulsa.com and cast your vote. It's sponsored by DiscoverTulsa.com and Tedford Insurance. We'll be naming our winner at the end of the game. DeMarco Jones kept her on the right side, but a penalty marker in the backfield. And this one's on the offense. Holding. Holding penalties kill you, JV.
Penalties have really been crucial here. And if you recall in the first possession that an offside or a motion penalty kind of throttled the drive that the Blue Jays had there early on. So it's been tough on both teams.
Guthrie's had 114 yards rushing, 57 yards passing.
I got holding on the offense.
171 yards total offense. That's a little more than Washington, but not a bunch. Booker T's had a lot of passing success. Big third down and long.
Yeah, big plays will really be the focal point here when it's all over.
DeMarco looking into the end zone. Incomplete. Keenan Webb. No, it's not Keenan Webb. That's John Hudson stretching out, the big tight end. 4th and long. The ball's at the 32, which means it would be a 49-yard field goal attempt. And Stephen Penrod has hit 50-yarders in practice, but they told me before the game that about 45 is about all they figured to let him try.
Well, and with the goalpost being a little more narrow, 3 foot exactly, that might be tough for him. And
maybe he's talked him into thinking about it. Yeah, because Guthrie's called a timeout. 1:04 to play in the first half.
Well, you know, the kicker is telling the coach, I can do it. Let me do it. But I was just wondering, he may not even be able to see the goalpost.
Let's go down to the field. Steve Marshall.
This could be a weekend of firsts. Of course, Bill Blankenship and Tulsa Union got their first state championship title. Earlier this afternoon, Glenpool in their first ever appearance, a state championship, and Guthrie's trying to make it 3 for 3 here on the weekend.
Good point, Steve. Of course, the Hornets have won 6 titles. Last one in 1984. Let's go down to Rod Thompson. Rod, what were you doing in 1984?
Hey, over here on the sideline, the Booker T Washington Hornets, the coaches are really telling players they're being really passive on defense. They said we came too far to be passive. They have to attack on the defense end and stop the running back, DeMarco Jones. Guys, back to you.
I bet Rod was in nursery school or something.
He was down in Beggs, Oklahoma playing baseball. We found out the other night during a telecast that he was a baseball player at one time.
I imagine he could do about anything in Beggs. Probably ran track, too. That's some great track teams down in Beggs. All right, that leg kick. You saw it there on the left.
Looked like he might have gone
steps forward.
Yeah, just a little bit forward, then went back. And that's
here we go, live action. 4th down, and they're throwing deep into a crowd. Intercepted. Well, it was a fancy play, but it did not work. And Quentin Cheney made him pay for it.
By number 19, Quentin Cheney.
51 seconds to play now.
And Quentin Cheney's really had a great game, and you can see how he went up over there and kind of triple coverage.
All spotted just past
Brent Hodge, I believe, threw the ball.
Yeah, it looked like DeMarco Jones was out on the receiving end of it.
.51 seconds to play in the first half. McClellan throws, got his man at the 30. That is Housley.
Housley was able to get the first down, which stops the clock until they move the chain. So you would expect the Hornets to be right up on the line of scrimmage, ready to go as soon as the ball's spotted.
2 wide receivers right, 2 left. McClellan out the shotgun. Lets it go downfield. Tipped and intercepted by Guthrie. Out of bounds to stop the clock. Cody Garrett with a huge play.
Cody Garrett, interception for the Bluejays.
I think you can see how competitive these two teams are against one another. McClellan scrambling around, looking downfield, and that's just a great alert in there. It was tipped, looked like maybe by Randall Lewis, but at any rate, Cody Garrett comes up with the football and a possession for the Blue Jays.
And they're at the Hornet 41.
And there's still a lot of time, 35 seconds. They're still looking to put more points on the board in the first half.
Jones in the pocket. Incomplete. Was looking for John Hudson. 30 seconds to play now. We're keeping an eye on the interior linemen and the linebackers because Joko, for work in the great outdoors, is asking us to honor the Joko Workman of the game. We appreciate their support of high school football.
And it's not going to be an easy selection because there are several players that are really working in those areas.
Oh, here's that lineup with 4 wide receivers to the right side of the field. Look at that. Inside pitch to Hudson. He's a load down to the 25-yard line. 23 seconds to play now. They stop the clock so they can move the chains. Still 4 wide receivers clustered together on the right side of the field. And they spike the ball to stop the clock. So that'll hurt DeMarco's passing stats, but he won't mind too much. 22 seconds to play in the first half. They're in field goal position, or in field goal range, I should say, at the 25.
Rafe Watkins, the head football coach at Guthrie. 19-5 at Guthrie. 33-23 on the career. He's down there now, Mick, where he's got a shot at that field goal, and that extra point is always so important that he missed in the first touchdown. So he could come away here with a field goal. I think he would be happy.
Guthrie working quickly. They sprint out of the huddle. And penalty marker comes up. Penalty on Guthrie. Steve Marshall.
Yeah, the problem there, they didn't get the call down from the box in time. Rafe Watkins was very upset with the coaching staff, told them, we got to get the play down here sooner. When he turned after calling for the play, there was just 6 seconds left on the play clock, so a little confusion cost him a penalty and maybe in field goal.
You're right, Steve. That's 5 big yards from the 25 to the 30. So now it's 2nd and 15 with 22 seconds to play in the first half. Guthrie leads by a touchdown. Jones lofts one downfield, incomplete. Receiver was open by a step. That's John Hudson, but DeMarco couldn't hit him. Well, you know, it's got to be tough for DeMarco Jones also to not tuck that ball and run. But with the timing situation, JV, he's doing the right thing and throwing the ball.
Oh, yes, he is. And, you know, and they really are thinking that they just want to add some points here. If it is a field goal or if they get an opportunity to get it across the goal for the 6, that'll work as well.
Guthrie has no timeouts remaining. 3rd and 15 at the 30. Almost got to throw it. There he goes. To the 20, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5, and down to the 3-yard line. 8 seconds to play. They can stop the clock only to reset the chains. I would assume they're going to spike the football here so they can think about what to do next.
They got time to do that.
They don't need the chains. They just need the down marker. 1st and goal, and they spike the ball. And so with 6 seconds to play in the first half, Guthrie gathers its wits and decides what to do here from the 4-yard line.
And have we had some excitement in the last minute and 45 seconds? 2 interceptions, 1 on each team, and it looked like it was going to be 6-zip. Now it looks like it's not going to be 6-zip.
Hornets take a timeout. DeMarco Jones, 13 carries, 110 yards in this ball game. He's thrown the ball 9 times, completed 4 for 73 yards and a touchdown. And he's a difference maker.
And look at the great blocking he gets downfield there. Number 32 really springing there, Jason Shoemaker.
You know, they could have used him getting out of bounds there. If he'd gone out of bounds, they wouldn't have had to down the clock, had 2 more seconds, and 2 seconds doesn't sound like a lot, but you know, you might be able to run another pass play into the end zone.
That's absolutely right. In 8 seconds, you can run a play in 4 seconds.
They're going to bring on the kicker. Placing the tee at the 12-yard line, Stephen Penrod to attempt a 22-yard field goal attempt. The kick is on the way, and he nailed it. Stephen Penrod, as time expires in the first half. DeMarco Jones and the Blue Jays have done the job here in Stillwater so far. They lead Booker T. Washington 9-0 at the break. Let's go down to Steve Marshall.
Thanks a lot. Big emotion, a little confusion there on the sidelines. I know trying to get your plays in there at the end. You guys lead at 9-0 at the half.
Well, we were just trying to see what we could get out. We knew that we had, you know, not any timeouts left and was hurting for time as far as on the clock, but we got the first down, got the spike, and stayed, you know, and got our 3 points, what we needed, made it a 2-possession game.
What do you tell the kids at halftime now?
Well, to keep doing what we're doing. We're playing pretty good defensively. We told you before that it's going to be completely impossible to stop him all the time, Meachem. He made a great catch. We had good coverage. He come up and out-athleted us. That's going to happen sometimes, but overall we played really good. We're shutting the running game down. If we shut the running game and keep them strictly to passing, we got a good shot at it.
2 more to go. Good luck.
2 more.
All right, thanks a lot. Back upstairs.
Thank you, Steve. Rafe Watkins and the Blue Jays have shut out the Hornets at halftime. We'll be back to Stillwater. It's a foggy night in Stillwater. Guthrie leading Booker T. Washington 9-0 at the half. This game to determine the 5A state championship. There you see Gallagher-Iba Arena in the background of this wonderful facility here on the Oklahoma State University campus. Here's our first half highlights. See DeMarco Jones throwing an early pass to number 23, Keenan Webb. Then Webb tipped that one up in the air, and it was intercepted by Jamel Jones. That stopped on its first possession, but they came right back. There's Colby Wagner with his first run of the game. It was a beauty, 26 yards down the field, and that set up the only touchdown of the first half. Jones went back, looked for Keenan Webb. Webb reacted, came to the ball. The defender point, though, just wide of the left. 6-0 lead after the first quarter. Booker T went to Meachem there. It was knocked clean. There you see DeMarco Jones, or rather McClellan, going down. Interception here late in the second quarter. DeMarco Jones making the tackle. But Guthrie came right back and intercepted the ball themselves. Cody Garrett. And that set up a field goal as time expired in the first half. 21-yarder by Stephen Penrod. And that's where we are, 9-0. You can start to see a little bit of that fog in the upper part of your screen. JV, take a look at those first half stats.
Well, you take a look at the stats here, and you look at the rushing yards. Guthrie 141 to 30. Passing yards is the opposite, 136 to 73. So 214 to 166, pretty even in there. First downs, Guthrie overwhelmed, double them, 12 to 6. Turnovers 2 to 1, and the 2 turnovers kind of costly there. But nevertheless, Guthrie was able to hold Booker T. Washington out. Penalties, I think, played a very key role. 5 by Guthrie, 3 by Booker T, and all 8 of those penalties came at pretty crucial times. And that could be a very, very important key, Mick, in the second half would be who remains arrow-free.
Well, Booker T. Washington is 13-0 entering this game. Guthrie 11-2. Guthrie lost in week 1 to Shawnee. And then JV in week 4, they were playing Douglas, and we all know how good Douglas is. They were down 21-0 to Douglas. Came back, almost won that game, and then have not lost since. In the playoffs, they've done away with Ardmore, East Central, and Chickasha. In fact, Chickasha just got 1 first down in the whole second half against that Guthrie defense. So if you start talking about who's playing well right now, the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are playing terrific football.
And, you know, a state champion, normally you reach your peak. I mean, you really play well at the end, and that's what they're doing.
Let's go down to Rod Thompson.
Joined here now by Coach Jefferson. Coach Jefferson down 9-0. I heard you tell your defense early they look a little passive on defense. They need to be aggressive.
Yes, sir. Hey, we rode our defensive line all year, and that's something we told them. Hey, you guys got to come out the second half and attack, play a Hornet-style football.
I noticed you had some early flags that caused you a setback. Then you had a couple of 4th down conversions that Guthrie stopped you. What did you tell your guys at halftime they have to do to come out and win this game in the second half?
Hey, we've been in this situation, especially in the playoffs. Our kids are going to overcome. Hey, the coaching staff went in, made a few adjustments, and our kids got to get after it. We told our D-line, hey, we've been riding your back. Hey, go make plays. Hey, go play Hornet football the way you set us up to be here.
All right, good luck second half, Coach. Guys, back to you.
All right, Rod Thompson, thank you.
You know, Ed Lacey has been a very important factor in Hornet success for, 40 years, and he is in charge of the special teams now for Antoine Jemerson, and he does a tremendous job there. You see him right there. Gosh, I've known Ed Lacey since the 60s, and he looks just like he did in the 60s. Has that same energy, and he is Mr. Booker T. Washington Hornet as far as football is concerned.
Well, I remember some of those teams in the 60s. They were not to be stopped.
You know, Ed Lacey is great as well. He runs a track program, Mick, in the summer and has done for so many years. AAU track, and he takes the kids all over the United States to track meets, and he just continues to work and continues to give himself to the north side kids, and he just a Hall of Famer, which he is, and you know right now that he's hurting. He wants those Hornets to get up and get up quick.
Booker T. Washington trailing at the half 9-0. They're not used to being behind.
You know, we were talking a few minutes ago about a team playing well, and I don't care. Booker T. Washington is 13-0, but right now Guthrie is playing. I'm sure that the coaching staff would tell you that they're playing the best football they played all year, and that's what you have to have. I think we saw the same thing with Union last night in the 6A finals, in which they overwhelmed Broken Arrow. I think they played their best football game of the season in the state championship finals, and that's what you really prepare and want your kids to be able to do.
Lots of great sporting events on Cox, allowed only 2.1 yards per snap against them. But this guy, Rafe Watkins, has their number tonight.
He really does, but, you know, just like DeMarco Jones for Guthrie, the Washington Hornets is capable of busting one at any time. It could come from a punt, it could come from a kickoff, it could come from a pass interception, or it could come from some type of a play for Robert Meachem. But DeMarco Jones, he's impressed me. He could do the same thing for the Blue Jays.
Well, Guthrie deferred its decision in the first half, so they're going to get the football here to start the second half. This is Garrett watching it go into the end zone. That's an automatic touchback, and the Blue Jays will start at the 20.
Well, anyway, you can keep that ball away from Keenan Webb on a kickoff. At that time, it wasn't going to Keenan. It was going to Cody Garrett, but keep it away from Keenan Webb, just like you keep it away from Robert Meachem.
And this will actually be the worst field position that the Blue Jays have had tonight.
And if you want to get some momentum for the Hornets, this is where the defense has really got to step up and give them 3 and out or force a turnover, but try to gain some superiority on the field and do it early in the third quarter.
1st and 10, Blue Jays put 2 wide receivers left, 2 right. DeMarco Jones is all alone in the backfield. He's in shotgun. Takes off up the middle. Dang near got a first down. Gained about 9. They just spread the field and send DeMarco up the middle.
And this is what Antoine Jemerson was talking to Rod about. His defensive line has got to step up there and start closing down between the tackles, because DeMarco's been able just to send his backs through, or he go through from tackle to tackle almost at will tonight.
And DeMarco's averaging 8 yards a carry. 2nd down and 1. 3 wide receivers left, 1 right. Inside pitch, and it's an incomplete pass. The Hornet fans thinking that's a loose ball and a free ball, but it is not. Keith Reed came up with it, but it's an incomplete pass, so it'll be 3rd down and 1.
When they make that little shuffle pass and it goes awry, almost wherever you are, the fans immediately think it's a turnover, but that's just an incomplete forward pass.
Tight end John Hudson was the intended receiver. We just started the second half. Guthrie leading the #1 team in the state, the Booker T. Washington Hornets, by a count of 9-0. A first quarter touchdown and a second quarter field goal. Here comes DeMarco Jones. Meachem's got him one-on-one, and Meachem takes him down. Number 4 versus number 3. That was a matchup of the 2 best players on the field.
And you really like to see the two good ones just go head up with one another. A miss in there by Keith Reed in the backfield, but look how Robert Meachem, he broke down, was not going to be, kept his eyes right on the center, right on the belt buckle of Marco Jones, and was able to bring him down.
Punt formation for the Blue Jays. Low snap, handled cleanly. Low kick, out of bounds at the 45. So Meachem didn't get a chance to return it. But here comes the Hornet on offense. They trail by 9.
The best.
Welcome back to Stillwater. Mick Cornett with J.V. Haney, Steve Marshall, and Rod Thompson on the sidelines.
The Booker T. Washington sideline felt that the fourth big possession was stopping Guthrie coming out and stopping them all 4 downs. They did that. They feel like they have some momentum. We'll have to see. Guys, back to you.
Meachem trying to ad-lib. He took the ball on a secondary handoff and got back to the line of scrimmage and maybe just a little more. He wanted to throw the ball, but nobody was open.
We'll get another good look at it here as McClellan hands the ball off, and it kind of a double reverse, but that was stopped in there very abruptly by Van Houten.
We got a penalty also on the Hornets, and this one's, boy, this one may be costly.
As far as the muscle is concerned. So the good news is he's moving his extremities. Appears to be one of those stingers that, you know, JV and Mick, you guys have heard it so much about, where your neck gets jammed, a tingling sensation, and you lose, you know, temporary feel to the touch every so often. But he is moving his outer extremities, the arms, the legs, offering some resistance. So that's the good news that we have right now that we can report.
All right, Steve, thank you.
And that's always the first thing you look for, Mick. Are they moving their legs? Are they moving their arms and moving their hands? And yes, I think we've all been around those stings that can occur that just temporarily you can't hardly feel anything because the jolt came so quickly. I did not see it happen. I couldn't see it on the monitor.
It was into the near sidelines, and the Booker T players in the sidelines were kind of blocking our view. Yeah. Cody Garrett is 5'9". He's a free safety, 145-pound senior. And he's one of the better players on the Blue Jays team. Our score is 9-0. The Guthrie Bluejays lead Booker T. Washington. Take a look at the last play. Let's see if we can see what happened to number 10. There's Robert Meachem.
See the little step that he gave right then. That's what makes him such a...
There's 10, and you see him jam the helmet. 10 laying there. He hit his helmet pretty hard on Meachem's thigh, and then just pretty much dropped to the ground.
You know, sometimes it didn't look like maybe it was that violent, but you can never tell just how much of a blow it was as his headgear hit.
Guthrie players obviously concerned about their teammate. This team has really come together since week 4 when they were down 21-0. Came back and had a field goal at the buzzer that would have beaten Douglas, but they had the field goal blocked and ultimately run back for a touchdown. So,
you know, there's been a lot of talk in Tulsa, Mick, about the possibility of winning 3 state championships in the larger school classes, 5, 6, and 4A. Well, 2 of them have already been run by metropolitan schools, Glenpool and Union, and they were looking for Washington if they could bring one back, and that'd be the first time in the history that people could remember, and I think it is the first time in the history that the Tulsa metropolitan area has had the opportunity or could win 3 state championships in the large schools. So a lot on the line for the Hornets, but right now in the first half and the first minute and 45 seconds of the second half, I think it has really been the Guthrie Bluejays.
You see a stretcher has been brought out on the field, and they're going to try to give some comfort to Cody Garrett, Blue Jay defensive back, injured on that last play.
We talked earlier about Antoine Jemerson and the fact that he's 13-0 this year, and how he is 19-6 on his coaching record that in 2 years at Washington, but he spent some time as an assistant at Jinx during that string of 6 consecutive state championships in Class 6A, so he has not had many losing football games where he's been a part of it.
Indeed. On the play where the injury occurred, Robert Meachem had taken the ball on a double handoff and gained a couple of yards, but there was a significant penalty, so when play resumes, the ball is going to be way back at the 21-yard line. Right now, all concern is on number 10, Cody Garrett, as they work to get him on the stretcher.
And you also become concerned at this point in time with a 5, 7, 8, 10-minute break, whatever it's going to be, that the kids standing on the sideline, you know, they get cold, and and then they go back and start playing.
The Guthrie coaching staff.
Rafe Watkins, well, he's certainly done a good job. He was an outstanding coach where he is at Chisholm, I think it was, before he came to Guthrie. He's had a good career. Those are sad moments in waiting.
It's tough on everybody.
Yeah, when you're on the sideline there and your teammates, you don't know how bad he is hurt. And of course, if you're the opposition, why, you're hoping and praying as well that he is not hurt.
Of course, Guthrie is located about a half hour north of Oklahoma City and about a half hour from Stillwater, where we are right now. Booker T. Washington located in Tulsa. Stillwater, a perfect site for these two schools to battle for the state title.
Well, the state championship has been held here at Louisville for so many years that a lot of teams, this is what they talk about. I think this was always something that Jinx said, that this was their home away from home. Of course, if you can win 6 titles here, I think you can claim that. And you look at Alan Trimble, and this year was the first year he has lost a playoff game. One of the columnists in one of the papers mentioned that might be a record that would never be broken. And I can't see any coach coming in first year as a head coach and go for 6 consecutive years in the large school classification and win the state championship. Incredible.
Yeah, it is remarkable.
And last night when we did the game with at Union and Broken Arrow, Bill Blankenship was quoted in the paper this morning, and I thought it was so classic of Bill Blankenship that it had the pictures and of the kids celebrating and hugging one another, and Bill was kind of standing off to one side in one of the photos, and he said, you know, this is what it's all about. It's not me, it's not my staff, but look. And I thought that was what a classic comment that is, that's where your heart and your feelings really are, is in the kids enjoying the big win.
You're watching the 5A state championship game in Stillwater. Guthrie Bluejays taking on the Washington Hornets. About 10 minutes ago, Guthrie free safety Cody Garrett suffered an injury. It appeared that he jammed his helmet into the thigh of the running back, and he went down on the field, and they brought out a stretcher, but being very cautious down there at exactly how they want to move him. We heard from the sidelines that Garrett was showing some movement in his extremities, but a lot of discussion there between the medical personnel on exactly what to do next. Glenpool won the 4A state title here in Stillwater, and as JV was just talking about, Union won the 6A title last night.
Had about 16,000 fans in Skelly Stadium, over 16,000 according to the paper, and I'm sure that was tickets sold.
Yeah, did I say Stillwater, by the way? That game was, of course, in Skelly. Yeah.
It's Skelly, and anytime you have a state championship like that, why, I imagine that there was probably 3,000 of the Coaches Association, wives and coaches and administrators. So that was a great crowd. A little warmer last night than it was tonight.
Hornets saying a prayer for their fallen opponent. Ten minutes and 22 seconds to play in the third quarter when play resumes. See the Booker T. Washington players trying to limber up and keep loose. Been a delay, I'm going to guess, of 10 to 15 minutes. And most eyes at the stadium on the 50-yard line were Cody Garrett. The Guthrie free safety has been laying and drawing a lot of attention from the medical personnel. They have brought out a stretcher. but have yet to lift him up off the turf. And you see the Washington players who've gone into the end zone, a lot what you'd see at halftime.
Well, I think they have to keep moving around, you know, just kind of keep the blood flow circulating. And always wonder what impact this will have once you start the game. We had a game once this year with Union, and playing one of the Oklahoma City area teams, and a young man got hit. We had about a 15-minute delay, and they took him off, and kind of really slowed things down when it comes back. You kind of begin to wonder. There are more important things maybe than the actual play at times.
There is an ambulance in the west end zone. So one big step in high school football from years ago. That the medical assistance that's available is quite remarkable. Doctors at every game and qualified trainers at most every practice in high school football.
Yeah, there's one time when it was just the coach. He could tape him up and give him an aspirin once in a while. That was about the extent of the attention that a youngster got. You know, we always laugh about this, that during those early days, why you wouldn't let kids have a drink of water, and then you'd give them a salt tablet.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
The 5A state championship game. Booker T. Washington Hornets, undefeated, 13 games this season. Their 11th title game in school history. They are 6-4 entering tonight's game. Last time they were in the finals, 1989, when they lost to Edmond Memorial. And they trail tonight, 9-0. If it looks a little foggy to you, that's pretty much what it looks like from the press box area where J.V. Haney and I are located. There you see a shot of the fog, which rolled in here just before kickoff, and it hadn't gotten any better. It's gotten a little bit worse. I called a meteorologist when the fog came in and found out that there is a fog warning up in Kay County and an adjacent county. And I got news for them. They can put one in for Payne County, too, if they'd like.
Well, I see now, Mick, they've been able to get the youngster up on the stretcher. Very gingerly, they lifted him up.
Yeah, Cody Garrett has now been lifted off the turf and onto the stretcher, as JV said. Cody Garrett, number 10, free safety. 5'9", 145. Knocked the ball carrier Robert Meachem out of bounds. Put his helmet first into the thigh of Meachem. Nice hand here from both sides of the field as Cody Garrett leaves. Booker T. Washington players coming over to wish him luck as he leaves. Crowd yelling, Cody, Cody, Cody Garrett. Quite a scene here in Stillwater as fans from both sides are on their feet. We're cheering as loudly as they have all night long. Cheering for the safety and well-being of number 10, Cody Garrett.
Hey, can I talk there?
And there's his teammates as the players now head back onto the field. 10:22 to play in the third quarter. Washington facing a first down and 34. You'll recall there was a significant penalty on the play where the injury occurred. Here we go. They've still not set the play clock in motion. Players on both sides are ready to go. Now they signal they can start. McClellan in the shotgun on 1st and long. Meachem looks left, now comes right. Tripped up on a really nice tackle by who else? DeMarco Jones. It wasn't it last series where Jones was tackled by Meachem? Now they just turned it around.
Well, two great players, and as we said then, I think it's just great to watch two players go head up on one another. And that time, DeMarco Jones just reversed the table.
Here we go. He looked left and then came back right.
Decided there was no room over there, and that's a great body tackle in there by DeMarco Jones.
2nd and 27. McClellan still got it. Nowhere to go. Guthrie's defense strung him out all the way. Guthrie Lewis, number 78, among the defenders over there to make the stop. Watch it here, JV. Guthrie did a great job of defending, not only downfield, but finally grabbing the quarterback and knocking him down.
And I really think that McClellan wanted to throw the ball. He kept looking downfield and acting like he wanted to throw it, but was still able to get back and just get a little ways past the line of scrimmage.
We'll give Chad Sanders credit for helping Guthrie Lewis there, number 78, make the stop. 3rd down and 30. 2 wide receivers right, 1 left. Oh, McClellan didn't see the snap come back. And he's tackled for a huge loss back at the 17-yard line. McClellan had turned to offer instruction to the wide receivers on the right side of the field, and at that same time, the center, Eddie Montoya, snapped the ball. Look at it here. And that is a nightmarish situation for the junior quarterback.
And McClellan was very fortunate to get back and cover it before Van Houten got on him, but he absolutely did not see the ball coming along. Miscommunication there between the center and the quarterback.
Now back to punt. Good snap. Weak punt off the right side of his foot, out of bounds at the Hornet 39. We're going to take a break. Guthrie leads at 9-0. They'll have great field position when we return to the 5A state championship game. Mick Cornett with J.V. Haney, Steve Marshall, and Rod Thompson. We're in Stillwater, Oklahoma, the 5A state championship game. Guthrie with a touchdown in the first quarter and a field goal as the first half expired. They lead at 9-0 here with 8:04 to play in the third quarter. Guthrie will start this drive at the Booker T 39. DeMarco Jones is the quarterback for Guthrie. He's been splendid all night long. And here he goes. Gain of about 3. DeMarco Jones now averaging about 7 or 8 yards a carry, 16 carries, 121 yards.
Well, you can understand how he makes the Blue Jay offense so good and so strong, because you know, you don't know where to defend against the pass. He's a very accurate passer. He's a elusive runner. He utilizes his blockers. He's just a complete package.
Tonight he will go over the 3,000-yard mark of total offense, passing and rushing. High snap, he handled it. Now he takes off up the middle. Got across the 35 to the 34. It'll set up a 3rd down and about 4 or 5 yards.
He's just getting some great blocking up front. Kyle Smith, David Washington, Chad Sanders. The offensive line does an excellent job. John Faro, he's also in there.
3rd and 5. Ball's at the 34. He's got to get to the 29. There you see the guy that made the tackle, Michael Tate, the Hornet linebacker. 3 wide receivers to the right, 2 to the left. DeMarco Jones is all alone in the Blue Jay backfield. He takes off up the middle. He's going to get the first down. They grabbed him at the line of scrimmage but couldn't hold him. Michael Tate finally ran him down with some help from Adrian Bradley. But DeMarco Jones continues to be the story of this game.
He gets past the line of scrimmage. He gets a good block, and he gets past the line of scrimmage into the secondary. And then you really got to break down. He's not going to just give it up on you. There's a missed tackle inside there that could have slowed him down just a little bit.
Fresh set of downs from the 21, midway through the third quarter. Inside handoff. That's Colby Wagner. Busting his way up to the 16. Really a good pickup there, about 6 yards.
And they're taking some valuable time off the clock here in the third period by keeping it on the ground, utilizing most of the seconds of the play clock, Mick. And when you run it like that, it doesn't take long to get rid of a quarter.
3 wide receivers right, 1 left. This time Jones has a friend in the backfield. That's Wagner. And he follows Wagner, who sets a block at the corner. Jones cuts it inside. 1st and goal for the Blue Jays. They're at the 9-yard line. Look at him follow big number 34.
I mean, he has followed 34 all night long, Colby Wagner. Doing a good job blocking, cutting back, and you see David Washington goes and gets a nice block. Just a good running back, isn't it?
He is. 1st and goal from the 9. 3 wide receivers left, 1 right. Jones still has it. Runs into a pile. This time the Hornets aren't fooled. Gang tackled for a loss back to the 11-yard line. Boy, the surge was tremendous that time by Booker T.
Really came off the line of scrimmage. Looked like there might have been just a little hesitation in the Guthrie backfield as well. Antoine Jefferson getting some signs from the sideline, the head coach of the Hornets.
Well, when you're averaging over 10 wins a year, that's a pretty good coaching career you got going.
Yes, it is.
There's DeMarco Jones. 7 yards a carry. Whistle down on the field. I think we got an equipment timeout. They're looking at one of the Booker T. Washington players. 2nd and goal from the 11-yard line. Guthrie started this drive at the Hornet 39 after a bad punt, and they have hardly been stopped. Just moved it right down the field. Jones is all alone, shotgun, 2 wide receivers left, 2 right. Hornets blitz. Jones saw him coming, took off for the biggest hole he could find, and got up to the 8-yard line. He has a 3rd and goal from the 8.
Mickey really has great reaction. He sees the blitz. He reads the defense as well, and he cuts through there and just does a remarkable job of it. Michael Tate made the tackle that time, but because of the passing ability, you're not getting as aggressive movement out of the linebackers in the corners that maybe you normally would.
This time, Wagner joins him in the backfield. Jones in trouble. Stops, throws, into the end zone. Caught, touchdown! Touchdown, Blue Jays! DeMarco did it again! He fakes the handoff to Wagner. Looked like a running play. He tossed it into the end zone, and a really nice catch. Is that Keenan Webb? No, who is that?
I think it's Jason Shoemaker, I believe.
It is. Jason Shoemaker, 5'11", 180-pound wide receiver. The extra point's on the way, and he hit it. It's going the Blue Jays' way. 16-0, third quarter.
What I just really like at college. We'll show you why at SWASU, the focus is you. You can be yourself at SWASU. With more than 90 campus groups, I can meet new people, try new things. SWASU has more to offer and stuff that really matters. Professors who've worked in their field, small class sizes, great majors in all areas, a renowned pharmacy school, and it counts.
SWASU, the focus is you.
We're in Stillwater. Let's go down on the field. Steve Marshall.
Thanks a lot. Checking out Kyle Smith, one of the big linemen for the Guthrie Bluejays. The tone over here has picked up, as you obviously might imagine, since the injury and they took the young man off the field. The team has gotten back into the contest and like the way that things are going right now.
All right, let's go over to Rod Thompson.
On this side, early in the game, we talk about some of the keys. Coach Jamison talked about his defense had to contain DeMarco Jones. Well, they're not doing a good job of it right now. He feel like they forced turnover, then misfortune has happened. Losing the ball or got busted plays. They can't happen. He said they got to get together. A lot of game left. He feels they can come back. Guys, back to you.
All right, ready for the kickoff. Meachem and Marshall back deep for Washington. Both of them have returned kicks for touchdown this year. High kick. Meachem bobbling it at the 24. Gains possession and wrestled to the turf at the 27.
Robert Meachem on the return.
You got to compliment the Blue Jay coaching staff. They've done an excellent job of containing Robert Meachem. That is at least 3 kickoff or punt returns that he's had, and he has not broken one out of there. His big plays have been on the pass and on the run.
Take a look.
You can hear that all the way to the press box. They are hitting on the field.
Hand off to Felix Jones, but Guthrie reacts. Ryan Spate. Levi Van Houten helping out a little bit, number 51.
Spate and Van Houten both have had good games. Well, you can just go down the line of the Blue Jays offensively and defensively. Great down line play tonight.
Well, Booker T. Washington has rushed the ball 21 times, and they have just 26 yards. 2nd and 12 from the 25. McClellan wants to run, now throws deep. Had a man, diving effort, but out of bounds and incomplete. Jamel Jones, the intended receiver.
Looked like DeMarco Jones was on the defensive side of it, trying to defend.
Jones on Jones.
Always interesting to look at the headgears and all the decals they've had. That you can tell those kids have had some success this year when you see the different decals on their helmet.
See how they have so many stickers. Looks like they'd run out. 3rd and 12 from the 25. McClellan's fighting for his life, but he's not going to get out of the pocket. Seth King, number 55. A frustrated Kenneth McClellan coming off the field. JB, take a look. Watch for number 55 here.
He comes through, just does an excellent job. Really contained in. And a little frustration right there by the quarterback, McClellan.
I mean, Guthrie's defensive front is playing an outstanding game against the run or the pass. Under the 2-minute mark now in the 3rd quarter. Hornets forced to punt. That's Kirk Jones. Low snap, taken on the hop, and he gets it off. Good kick. Webb calls for a fair catch at his own 49. You ever notice that the worse the snap, sometimes the best the kick?
That's true.
I don't know why it works out that way.
You can't figure it out, can you?
It's like they kind of have an extra shot of adrenaline there when they've lost the go. Well, it's that holiday season. I'd like to remind you, you can bring a new unwrapped toy to Cox Communications and receive a free pay-per-view coupon. Your generosity helps a child in need, so go by the Eaton Square offices at 61st and Memorial, that's in Tulsa, and drop off your toy. Cox Communications is a proud supporter of this year's Marines Tots for Toys, or rather, Toys for Tots, not Tots for Toys. You don't get a tot if you bring a toy. Toys for Tots campaign. Penalty on the field.
5-yard penalty.
There you see the legal procedure. So that pushes Guthrie back 5, and it's 1st and 15 from their own 45. And now they're putting 2 wide receivers left and 1 right. Jones hands it off. That's Colby Wagner. And he gained a couple. It'll be 2nd and long.
Colby Wagner's done a good job. Not only does he protect DeMarco Jones on the passing situation, he leads him in the blocks on a lot of the sweeps and the end rounds. And then he takes the ball up the middle himself, and he'll pick up a couple of 3 yards. In that first half, he had that 1 first down play that was a big play.
The clock starting to become the ally of the Blue Jays. Here comes DeMarco. Hurdles a Hornet, gets past midfield. He got the first down. It was 2nd and 13. He had to get to the 40, and he got it with a foot to spare. Can DeMarco Jones do anything wrong tonight?
He cannot do anything wrong tonight. Just follows his blockers so well, and you can see he can just absolutely make it almost impossible if you attack him one-on-one head up. He just starts that little darting motion. Was tackled from behind that time by Michael Teague.
What a night. What a finish to a career for DeMarco Jones. From the 40. Jones hands off, but this time the Hornets swarm right there and get him at the line of scrimmage. He gave it to Colby Wagner. Theo Wagner had a 26-yard carry on his first attempt. And, well, his yards per carry has been dropping like a rock ever since. The Hornets have been grabbing him and throwing him down. The 3rd quarter has come to a close. The Guthrie Bluejays are 12 minutes from their first ever state title. Can the Hornets come back? We'll be right back. It's a chilly night in Stillwater. Guthrie has 2 touchdowns and a field goal. They lead 16-0. They've got the ball. 2nd and 11 at the Hornet 41. Jones throws incomplete. It was between 2 receivers. He may have just been throwing that one away.
Kind of surprising that he came out and threw here on the first play of the 3rd quarter. You've been so successful on the ground in the 3rd quarter.
Yep, that clock doesn't run when you throw it incomplete. Guthrie's really done a pretty good job here in the 2nd and 3rd quarter of getting the lead and getting the clock moving.
Yes, they have.
Stop it here one of the few times. They have 2 wide receivers right and 2 left. Jones is by himself in the backfield. Takes off up the middle and lunges forward for a 5-yard gain.
On the keeper.
He turned a 2-yard carry into a 5-yard gain.
Reggie Young, first man to stop.
Tackle was made in there by Keith Beverly, but it really shows you how that, you know, you hit him once. But that's not enough. You have to have help. He's just so hard to take down one-on-one.
DeMarco Jones, 163 yards rushing, 81 yards passing. He's the team's leading rusher, and of course the leading rusher. And we got the old swinging gate here. They tried to run the swinging gate, but the official stopped them. Offside. So they lined up offsides, lined up in the neutral zone. Hey, JV and I are keeping an eye on the linemen and linebackers, and coming up here in the 4th quarter, we'll be announcing our Jilco Workman of the Game. Jilco, for work in the great outdoors. Make some fine products, and we appreciate their support of high school football here in the 2002 season. Okay, well, so much for the swinging gate. They're back to the shotgun. Or rather, back to punt formation. Punt lands at the 6, scoots into the end zone, so Booker T will start at the 20. We're going to take a break. 11 minutes, 12 seconds to play in Stillwater. Guthrie leads by 16. Live action in Stillwater. Robert Meachem on 2nd down and long, lunges forward, gains about 3. So it'll be 3rd down and 6 from the 24-yard line. Robert Meachem, number 3.
And here's a good play by Levi Van Houten. He really turns Meachem back up into the flow coming in. He's got a pretty good block on him, but he made him go right back to where the flow was coming, and no way he's going to get out of that.
Got to get to the 30. Interference call. You saw it clearly. Pass was thrown for DeMarco Owsley. And Larry Hagans tried to time it perfectly. If he got there early, JV, gosh, it was just a split second. Well, he did a pretty good job.
He really did. And, you know, in teaching pass defense, you've got to teach, that margin hit in there. You probably get away with about half the time, and you can't fault the defender for that at all.
Receiver most certainly would have caught the ball had it not been hit.
That's right.
He had great position. It's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic 1st down, so the Hornets move up to the 40. They need 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions to get to 16. Or 8 safeties. But
a lot of different combinations, but up at the top left-hand screen there, the Cox clock tells you everything.
Blitz coming. McClellan gets it off. Incomplete. Well defended. And there you see the receiver, Jamel Jones, getting up. Boy, McClellan's got a good arm. He threw that one a long ways.
He does, and he can throw off the move. He's got a pretty quick release.
That's just good defense. Josh Chappell is right there. 2nd down and 10 at the 40. 2 wide receivers right, 2 left. McClellan takes off and gets to midfield. I think he got the 1st down.
Looked like he got very close to it.
Kenneth McClellan. It was a pass first, run second type of play. He showed great speed here in getting around the defenders to the corner. Nice. Got a 1st down with about a foot to spare.
DeMarco Owsley turns and gives him the block that allows him to make the 1st down.
So officially the ball's at the 49. Officials have a stop play. They have an equipment problem in the Booker T. Washington huddle. here we go. 9:39 to play in the ball game. Washington is in Guthrie territory at the 49. McClellan's going down. Levi Van Houten.
What a game the 6'3" senior, 215-pound offensive and defensive end has, offensive lineman, defensive end he's had. Levi Van Houten.
Boy, held his ground perfectly. Didn't overcommit. Let another defender lead him right into him.
And is that not a tackling drill where you take him and put him down?
That's Van Houten at the bottom of that four-man front for the Blue Jays. Pass on the run. Did he catch it? No. Would have been enough for a first down. The receiver, DeMarco Owsley, pleading his case. Take a look at it here. Well, but the official was right there on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 11.
He was right there on it, and, you know, if you're the receiver, why, you want to plead your case in there.
Well, they teach that.
Absolutely.
Ball's at midfield. 3rd and 11. McClellan throws. It's blasted as he does so. Incomplete. Boy, he took a licking from Guthrie Lewis.
Pass was intended to Quentin Cheney, and even though he's 6'6", he just couldn't quite reach out and get it.
And it's 4th down and 11.
No coming down onto the field of Lewis Field. Must remain in your seats. No coming down onto the field.
McClellan's showing a lot of courage. I mean, he took a hit, and he popped right up and ran over to the sidelines to get the next play. Well, it's a big play for the Hornets. They need 2 scores and 2 two-point conversions. A toss underneath. Caught. First down. Meachem. Great throw and catch. Kenneth McClellan and Robert Meachem.
Meachem takes a little button hook pattern. You notice he comes right back to meet the ball. Able to break 1 tackle and pick up a couple of more yards.
I'm not sure there's another high school in the state that's had the illustrious alumni of Booker T. Washington. And Robert Meachem belongs in the same category as all those other guys through the years. He's a good one. 1st and 10 now at the 35. McClellan throws it deep. Incomplete. It hit the back of Josh Chappell. He made a whale of a defensive play and never even turned around. But he was just trying to catch up. He didn't know the ball was coming.
He was certainly filling a lane between the receiver and the quarterback. Looked like it might have hit his arm as it came down.
Yeah, he is starting to look around.
Yeah, he did. He got his arm out there. He knew what was going on. Excellent defensive play.
2nd and 10 at the 35. Blitz. Picked up. McClellan threw it. Receiver still down on the field. I think that's Jamel Jones. He was stretched out trying to catch that ball and looked like he landed awkwardly.
Well, he was doing everything he could do to get his hands on the football, and he was wide open. If he had caught the ball there, why, could have been some problems. Nice protection in there for McClellan.
Just a little bit too high off his fingertips. Jamel Jones has 3 catches tonight for 33 yards.
Well, the clock really becomes an ally of the Guthrie Bluejays, but you're still talking 2 possessions, and as quick as Washington has the capability of scoring, why, they still have to have a little heart left that there's time to do it. But this is the big possession.
Well, who's the best high school football player in Green Country? Hey, we got a new leader since we checked in last time. Where did Mick Major's fan club go? Courtney Tennell. It must have been those halftime highlights we showed about Glenpool. Courtney Tennell, Mr. 3,000 yards, has taken the lead, 39% to 34%. We appreciate DiscoverTulsa.com and Tedford Insurance for their sponsorship of high school football on Cox this season.
You could take those 5 players and start up a pretty good program, couldn't you?
You bet you could.
Because they can play more than one position.
Yeah, those are 5 good ones there. They are tending to Jamel Jones, the Booker T. Washington wide receiver, who went down on that second down incompletion. Let's go down the field. Steve Marshall.
Thanks a lot. Just listening to Rafe Watkins talking to his ball players. He said, guys, state championship comes down to these next 2 plays. He says, if you can hold them out, we get the ball back on offense. We're going to take about another 6 minutes off the clock, and then they don't have any time. 2 more downs, he said, and you guys are state champions.
Jamel Jones walking off the field under his own power. It's a good sign.
And I would have to agree with the philosophy of the coach on that.
Yep.
But twice during the playoffs, it's come down to 1 play, and Washington was able to make a first down and sustain a drive and have come from behind and win. So, you know, you just can't ever count them out.
They need 10. Set up the screen, incomplete, and a penalty marker comes out. We may have a pass interference call here. Now, the Guthrie players are wanting a catch and a fumble. They're not going to get that. I'm not sure what they're going to do with it there.
Well, you couldn't tell where Sam Morello was holding his arms down before the ball got there from our vantage point.
It looked like they tried to tackle the ball carrier before the pass got there.
I got roughing the passer.
Roughing the passer on the defense. Now, I did not see that. Let's go down to Rod Thompson.
On the Booker T sideline over here, Coach Antoine Jameson is to remind his team, don't give up. He reminded them back that they played Douglas last week where they got down. He knows he has big play players, and he feels that they can cut loose and score in a hurry. Guys, back to you.
Well, they're moving right down the field with the penalty. They've got it at the 20. Now, the official's got to run back 30 yards to get his flag. Well, they're waiting on him to come back.
That's a big break for the Hornets.
Keep in mind, it's a 2-possession game. They can get half what they need with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Handoff up the middle. It's Felix Jones. 7 big yards down to the 13.
Sam Morello continues to pile up the number of solo tackles he's had this year. Look at him move. Middle linebacker come across. Couldn't get a hold of him, but he got a hold of his shirt. You know, when you get to move the ball without the clock running on penalties, when the clock is important, that's very good for you.
Second down and 3. McClellan keeps it inside. Very close to a first down. He needed to get to the 10, and the line judge is running in at the 11-yard line. So it appears we're going to have 3rd down and 1.
And it looked like that was going to be the option play that the Hornets have run in the past, but McClellan elected to keep it and came so close to getting the first down.
Clock rolling, play clock moving. McClellan back in there to tell his teammates what they're going to do. And whistles blow as the ball is snapped. We got a timeout, I think. Yeah. McClellan and the Hornets want to think about it. We're going to take a break, too. 7:03 in the ball game. Booker T is at the 11-yard line when we return. We're back, 16-0 Guthrie. 3rd down and 1 at the 11-yard line for Washington. Quarterback sneak. And he's got it. Kenneth McClellan has really played well on this drive.
You know, he has because he's stepped up and he's been the leader. Only a junior.
They quickly give him a play. First and goal now at the 9.
Moves the ball down to the 9-yard line, where it's first and goal.
Deepest penetration of the night for the Hornets. Throwing into the end zone. Incomplete. DeMarco Jones broke on the play and knocked it down.
Pass was intended to Quentin Cheney, but DeMarco Jones, the gamer he is, comes across and bats it down. Almost interception, Mick.
So now it's second and goal. We got a penalty. Flag on the play against Guthrie, half the distance. It's pass interference on DeMarco Jones. So that's an automatic first down, so now it's first and goal at the 4.
But what's more important at this point is the clock.
McClellan keeps it. Like Seth King got him at the 5 and rode him to the 2. Yeah, number 55. Mark it at the 3-yard line. Second and goal from there. Hornets are working quickly. McClellan jumps, but when he lands, he's only at the 2-yard line. Russell Rush, the linebacker, making the stop, and the Hornets want a timeout. They've got third and goal at the Guthrie 2. Look at him jump here.
Had that ball awful high there. Sometimes Headgear catches that just right and it'll pop out. But, you know, he had Felix Jones on the trail, and I keep thinking he's going to do the option with him, but it did open up enough there, and you don't want to take any chance of tossing that football when you think you could go and keep it yourself.
Let's go down on the field. Steve Marshall.
Thanks a lot. If we could pan to my left, you can see Coach Rafe Watkins during this timeout. He doesn't want to talk to his players. He wants to talk to the referee regarding that last pass interference call, and he's talking with them right now. He was extremely upset on the call against DeMarco Jones. Thought that, you know, he was in the right and got in there and made a good play, but they called the pass interference, kept the drive alive with just 6:08 left to go. Coach Watkins regains his composure. He'll talk to his kids, and they'll see if they can't pull out the state championship.
We are also joined by Rod Thompson.
In the Washington Huddle, coach are really challenging the offensive line. They're asking the offensive line how many times has Guthrie gotten to the backfield. Also asked the quarterback to pitch that ball protected. They don't want to fumble right now. They want a quick score, and he challenged the defense and said, hey, we got to step up. If any time we get a score right here, you have to step up on the defensive end. Guys, back to you.
All right, Rod Thompson, Steve Marshall. Great job on the sidelines all season long, gentlemen. World famous Booker T. Washington band entertaining us all tonight. We got a ball game going. Midway through the 4th quarter, Guthrie leads it 16-0, but the Hornets have third and goal at the 2.
Seems to be some confusion as to what play they are going to run.
The official is still over at the Washington sideline. Maybe they're going to change the clock. Yeah, they're going to change the amount of time that's at the clock. The fog has lifted a little bit here, so we can see the referee's hand signals.
And we can see the fans over on the Guthrie side. For a while, they were just like a shadow over there. Now we can see the different colors of the clothing that they're wearing.
They're going to put 4 seconds back on the clock.
And those 4 seconds could be tremendously large before this game is over.
There you see Kenneth McClellan, the junior quarterback. What a season he and the other quarterback, Keith Marshall, have had. in this undefeated run by the Hornets. They still have not changed the time on the clock.
There's something about tradition that it just kind of comes up and gives you that extra amount of strength, that extra step in speed. And Washington High School has that tradition.
Here we go. 3rd and goal. Great pressure by the Guthrie front four, and McClellan dumps it off incomplete.
Here we get to get another good look at it real quickly. It's just going to be that little quick lob pass.
Ryan Spate was in there in his face. Larry Hagan's defending. Owsley wanted a flag, didn't get it. 4th and goal at the 2. Here you go. Fade route. Caught. Touchdown, Hornets. Quentin Cheney. No time to celebrate. They need a 2-point conversion.
Well, we talked about this very thing just a few minutes ago. That big 4th down play that they had made twice here in the playoffs in the last 2 games to be able to keep alive, and with this 2-point conversion, they are certainly right back in the game.
Gotta have it. 6 minutes to play. Batted down at the line of scrimmage. The Blue Jays stop the 2-point conversion. I'm looking for a flag, and there's a flag at the goal line. All the players have stopped, but it's against the Hornets, and so the score is 16-6. It's still a two-possession game.
Big defensive line just comes in with their hands up, and we'll get a chance to see which one. Couldn't get his number, but certainly doing the right thing. They were trying to lob it again to Cheney.
And he was open.
Looked like it was Sam Murillo. He's the big middle linebacker that's had such a good game. Yes, there it is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, great play by Murillo.
Good job by our crew, too.
Yes. Cox cameras never miss anything.
Is that right?
That's right.
Well, they've been splendid tonight. 16-6.
2 possessions going to be difficult in 6 minutes. They're going to have to force a turnover. If the Blue Jays can use their ground game and what the coach said over there a few minutes ago to Steve, eat up 6 minutes, they have a goal ball.
Hornet cheerleaders not giving up. Could have an onside kick here. 6 minutes to play, and the way the Blue Jays can eat up the clock, Hornets need it twice, and they figure they better not let the Guthrie Blue Jays get it. Jones, the kicker. The hands unit is in for the Blue Jays. It's high and short, and a fair catch is signaled for and successfully grabbed. Doug Pearson ran into his own teammate as he caught the ball, but he held on.
Great concentration by Doug Pearson. He's a wide receiver. He should be able to hold on to it.
So the deep onside gives Guthrie the ball at the 35-yard line.
Now here's where the Hornet defense really has to stand up and be accounted.
First and 10 for Blue Jays at the 35. DeMarco Jones slips and falls forward. See where he went down. Looked like he gained a yard or two. I wasn't sure where his knee hit.
Well, we haven't seen him get thrown for a loss yet tonight.
Tripped over his own man.
Tripped over his own man. His man got knocked back into him.
It was Levi Van Houten, I think. Tripped him up.
But as long as they keep that clock moving, that's all they're interested in.
Gain of 2, second down 8. 16-6, this game for the 5A state championship. Penalty marker out, inside handoff to Wagner. And we've got an illegal shift.
Captain Black.
You know,
on the offense.
Colby Wagner, when he goes through the line on that particular carry, how both hands he came over that football, and no way was he going to lose it. And that's really significant right here now. And with the ground game going, make sure that you don't put it on the ground.
Well, they're going to take the penalty.
We got an illegal shift. 2 people in motion without pausing. Ready?
And so that allows Guthrie to get another down, and it also allows them to chew up some more clock.
Well, it's going to move under 5 minutes.
Second and long now. Receivers split wide to the right. DeMarco never looked their way, just took off up the middle, but the Hornets grabbed him after he gained a yard.
Looked like Reginald Young was the one who made the initial contact. Came in from the right side of the line.
DeMarco Jones now 25 carries, 167 yards. There you see team stats. Guthrie is dominated on the ground, but the Hornet passing game has really done well tonight. Third down, 11. And a penalty marker comes out. Delay of game on the Blue Jays. Blue Jay players disagreeing with something about it. Maybe they don't think it was set at the right time.
Well, it seemed like a rather quick 25 seconds to me.
Yeah, it did. Third down and 17. And this time the clock won't start until the ball is snapped. Inside screen, incomplete. The Hornets had some defenders there too. John Hudson, the intended receiver, and he couldn't grab it. And it's fourth down and long. And the Blue Jays are going to have to punt it away. It's scary to punt in this ball game because the return men are so capable of running it back all the way, and I think that's part of the reason that the punters have been kicking it out of bounds so much.
Absolutely. You certainly don't want to kick it to Keenan Webb from Guthrie. You don't want to kick it to Robert Meachem from Washington.
Meachem is the lone back down on this play, and he can't get it. Pretty effective punt. It kept Meachem from getting his hands on it. And the Hornets will start at their own 32. 3:51. The Hornets need to attack quickly.
The mountains built for tough.
We're back in Stillwater. Been a little foggy, been pretty cold. But overall, for a December night in Oklahoma, you can't complain.
I have seen a lot worse nights than tonight, but it hasn't been the most pleasant night for fans to set out, although I do think it's been nice on the football players on the field. They don't notice this because they are working.
Here come the Hornets. They're down by 10, 3:51 to play. First and 10 at their own 32. Blue Jays send 6. McClellan scrambles, but he can't get out of the pocket. Whistle blows the play dead. The Blue Jays were all over the quarterback, Kenneth McClellan. I mean, they brought 6 players in.
Randall Lewis and Russell Rush, 2 of the players in there, and they did. They had a jailbreak on that one.
2nd down and 19. Here comes 6 more. Oh, he gets it off to Meachem. 40, 50. Clock continues to roll at the 44-yard line. McClellan got rid of it somehow, and he knew who to get it to. Number 3. Look at this.
That is an incredible pass.
No, it's not. It's Felix Jones. I thought that was Robert Meachem.
Well, credit McClellan with a very gutsy throw of the football after having arms all over him.
1st and 10 at the 43, and this time McClellan's going deep. DeMarco Jones has intercepted the ball. DeMarco Jones, what a game.
If you're looking at MVPs, you would have to look toward Marco Jones, wouldn't you? Directing the offense and then making what seemingly would be the crucial interception that could get him the gold ball.
DeMarco Jones, best player in a white jersey, guarding Robert Meachem, best player in a black jersey. Jones comes down with the interception. Two minutes and 50 seconds to go. Guthrie with the player down on the field. I'll tell you, let's go ahead and announce our Jelco Workman of the Game.
The Jelco Workman of the Game recognizes the player who exemplifies teamwork and outstanding work ethic. Presented by Jelco Clothing and Shoes for work and the great outdoors.
And congratulations to number 51, Levi Van Houten. He's been a star on both sides of the field tonight. Look at him turn Meachem in there. Levi Van Houten, number 51 of the Guthrie Bluejays. You are the Jelco Workman of the Game. Congratulations.
There you see him on the sideline. He was the one who got shook up just a second ago there. Looked like might have been a cramp in his leg, but what a game he's had. Both sides of the football, Mick.
2nd down and 9. DeMarco's been in the shotgun pretty much the whole night. Letting the clock expire. They're keying on him now. And we're inside 2 minutes. And Booker T calls timeout.
And I believe that's their last timeout, isn't it, Mick? So
they might have one left.
They have to really do something. Can't get over that McClellan pass to Felix Jones, who it looked like he had just already been completely thrown for a loss, and he just stuck the ball out there somehow and got rid of it.
Yeah, that was a tremendous play. And you are right, JB, they are out of timeouts. 3rd down and 15 with 2:03 to play.
Well, it looks like they will get the ball back, maybe with a few seconds on the clock.
Got to do a Guthrie game last year when Guthrie played Carl Albert during the regular season, and as you can imagine, those two powerhouses went right down to the wire, and Guthrie won it on a field goal in the final minute. Carl Albert then rebounded and won a state title.
Well, we've had the opportunity to see most of the metro area 5A teams in Tulsa, and tonight Guthrie has certainly demonstrated to me that they are the best 5A team in the state.
3rd and long, 3 wide receivers right and 2 left. Jones takes the ball and runs right. Now he runs left, trying to eat up some clock. Lost a couple of yards. It'll be 4th down. Guthrie will presumably punt it away. And they started the clock, so they'll be punting away with about 1 minute and 20 seconds to play. And the Hornets need 2 scores.
Well, you start looking at possibilities. Could they do it? Well, if they could return the punt for a touchdown, onside kick, and gain control of it, a lot of things can happen. But if they had 2 timeouts or 1 timeout left, it could be a lot more feasible for them. But with no timeouts, it's got to be tough.
DeMarco Jones will be erecting a statue of that young man.
After the game, no coming down onto Lewis Field. However,
well, he has had a state championship game. There's no doubt about that. And only 5'10", only weighs 165 pounds, but he certainly plays stronger than a 165-pounder normally does.
They announced it before the game that the Altus Bulldogs had won the 5A state academic title. We want to congratulate them. They had what was their grade point average? 3.3, I believe, as a team. That's a tremendous accomplishment.
And I'm sure one of our fine men in the sales at Cox Communications in Tulsa, Lynn Morton, would be proud of that. Former sportscaster, now with Cox, and I understand that he was a great student at Alvin as well.
Guthrie ready to punt it away. Robert Meachem backs up, hoping to get a chance to return the punt. Meachem has a couple of punt returns for a touchdown this year. He'll get a shot at the 32. He did everything he could, but the Blue Jay punt team did a great job.
Josh Chappell, you've just got to appreciate number 13 there at the left of your screen a second ago. He goes right down the line. Watch 13. After Meachem decides he's going to go around the right side. You'll see 13 come into your picture, but there he is. He was just kind of like a bird dog going down the line.
They strung him out, and then Chappell went in there and grabbed him and took him down. 1st and 10 at the 32, 1 minute 6 to go. McClellan throws for Meachem, incomplete. And it'll be 2nd down with 1 minute 3 to play.
Ball got to Meachem before he turned around and could locate it.
Two wide receivers left, 2 right. 2nd and long. Throwing deep and over the head of the intended receiver. Looks like Cheney.
Quentin Cheney. When it goes over Quentin's head, it is a high throw.
He's 6'6". 3rd down 10, 57 seconds to play. They're starting to go crazy on the Blue Jays side of the field. Blitz coming, pass thrown, incomplete. Keenan Webb defending on the play, pass intended for Owsley. And it's 4th down and long. Last gasp for the Hornets.
Well, they got their touchdown on 4th. And you know, the Hornets are still feeling like, hey, we score on this play, we get an onside kick, we get the ball back.
Meachem is at the top of your screen. I'll be surprised if they don't go his way. Way downfield. They got a man. It's caught. It's caught. It's Meachem. He scored a touchdown for the Hornets. How did Robert Meachem get that open?
Well, it looked like there were two receivers down there wide open. You see Meachem. Also looked like I couldn't pick up the other number, but there was another Hornet in the end zone. Well, you're looking 42 seconds. That timeout would be real big, Mick, if they had it right now.
Down by 4. The Hornets are going to try for 1.
Well, that gives them the opportunity to tie.
Kicks on the way, and it's good. McClellan, the quarterback, was shaken up. Came off the field under his own power, but had some other people around him. Not sure what happened. Let's see here.
We'll go back and take a look and see after he throws the ball, see what happens. Yes, that's what happened.
Hit by Guthrie Lewis.
Deech, 255 pounds, 6'4". That's what happened to him.
42 seconds to play in the ball game. An onside kick coming up. The Hornets need the football, and they need a field goal to tie, a touchdown to take the lead.
Well, the key is they have to be able to cover the onside kick because they're out of timeouts. And Guthrie could just take it and run the clock out. But if they could gain possession, then a chance to win or a chance to tie.
With 6 minutes to play, Booker T lined up in onside kick formation and kicked a high onside kick that was fair caught at the 35. So they were playing field position there to a certain extent, hoping it would be bobbled, but not wanting to give Guthrie the ball at midfield. All right, they have 11 players on the near side of the field. And now the kicker, Kurt Jones, walks over there. Here we go. It's loose. And Guthrie has the football. And Guthrie gives an orange bath to head coach Rafe Watkins.
Well, the coach has still got a little movement with his feet, hasn't he?
He's quick.
He got out of there.
He must be a good dancer.
I don't want that cold Gatorade down my back on a night like this.
It was a loose ball, an excellent kick by Kurt Jones. That ball was about 12 feet up in the air, and it had traveled 10 yards. That was extremely difficult for the kick return team to be able to grab it amidst everything that was going down in that pile, but they did it. And now a penalty marker comes out. Now they called a penalty on Guthrie for some sort of illegal formation. Take a look at this onside kick again.
And just look how quickly the Hornets get down there. Just a mass of people. Look at the black helmets in there.
I mean, that is a bounce that an onside kick coach dreams about. I mean, that was beautiful. Yes. I think Jarrell Smith may have grabbed it. DeMarco takes a knee. Let's see if he's going to have to do that again. I think he's going to have to snap it one more time. Let's see. It depends when they want to start it. They're not going to make him do it.
That's the ball game.
Play clock and the game clock are identical. They're going to go ahead and snap it one more time. Washington trying to knock the ball clear, and the officials call a 5-yard penalty. They were trying to hit the ball out of the center's hand, try somehow to guess when the center was going to snap the ball.
Well, it's been a great state 5A championship game, Nick.
Right down to the final minute in Stillwater.
And saw some exceptionally talented players.
There's the snap. DeMarco Jones has got the ball over his head. And the Guthrie Bluejays are the 5A state champions. been this happy since statehood.
Pictures tell it all in state championship games. Picture there of Trey Stewart. He's a sophomore, 5'10", 210-pound lineman, sophomore. Those sophomores and juniors remember this, Mick, and they'll want to come back.
Let's go down to Steve Marshall.
Thanks a lot. We're down here with Rafe Watkins. He is the state champion for Guthrie for 2002. How's it feel?
What do you think? It's an unbelievable feeling, you know, to come in and beat a great team like that right there. Give them credit. They kept coming back, and fortunately, we held them off. You know, nobody gave us a chance. Not too many anyway gave us a chance, but kids played hard, and that's an outstanding football team right there also.
Obviously, you guys played a great defensive game here this evening. What was it that you saw that you thought that you were going to be able to, you know, have such a great defensive effort tonight from your ball club?
Well, we knew we had to stop their running game to have any chance, and fortunately, we come out. I don't think they had very much at all in the running game, but they have those great receivers, and they're always a threat, and that's a worry too. Sometimes you worry if you stop the run that you might get the worst part of their game. I mean, you might get the passing game, but you had to stop the running game. Was fortunate enough to do that tonight, and we played well enough in the secondary to win it.
Early reports on the youngster that was injured. He was moving everything and seemed to be okay.
I think it was just precautionary reasons, you know, and that's what we want. That's the main thing, was the safety of the young man. He's a great senior for us. Cody Garrett has had a huge season for us, and we're glad that he's okay. As he was leaving, he said he's fine. He said the main thing is get his ring.
Got his ring. Great. Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you.
Very good. Rafe Watkins from Guthrie back upstairs.
And down to Rod Thompson, who's on the other side of the field. Rod?
Oh, a lot. You know, not yet.
All right. Give Rod a moment to get a word with Antoine Jimerson. 16-13, the final score. Guthrie. You know, they've been playing football in Guthrie for over 100 years. They've never been state champions.
Well, they earned this one, and I would agree with the coach. You know, defensively, they were just so tough. And
let's go down to Rod Thompson.
Now here with Coach Jimerson. You talked about early in the game, the quarterback for Guthrie. He did a good job, but hey, a lot of credit to you guys. You fought back and made it a game.
Yeah, first of all, Coach Rafe Watkins and his staff did an outstanding job of game planning against us. They didn't make a lot of mistakes. You know, and in a game like this, there's not going to be a lot of points scored. You know, you just kind of just pick and choose when you're going to be able to score. But our kids deserve a lot of praise, a lot of credit. You know, just the work they put in starting last November semifinal loss. They really worked really hard to get to this point. You know, we're really proud of them. Hey, the group of seniors we had really is leaving a legacy for the young guys behind them. And, you know, a work ethic of playing hard. You know, so I want them to hold their head up. Hey, they deserve a lot of praise.
Hey, Coach, gave it all you got. Good luck on next season.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
All right, Rod, thank you.
How about a nice hand for both these teams here today?
Trophies being presented down on the field, and
at this time, David Jackson and
that time of year, you know, it hurts now a lot to those Hornets. They were #1 all season, come in here undefeated. They will look back and at some point cherish this fine season they had that came up just short in week 14.
Well, I think you always have to remember this. There are 30 other teams in Class 5A, and any one of those 30 would love to be a runner-up.
Congratulations on a terrific year.
Love to be here tonight.
But when you lose that state championship, it takes a while for it to get away. But once it does, why, then you feel like you still had a great year. And for the young kids, it does give them the incentive and the desire to work a little harder and try to get it.
There's #1, Reginald Young, holding the state runner-up trophy.
It's time for the 2002 Class 5A State Championship Trophy. And it goes to the Guthrie Bluejays.
Boy, they've waited a long time for this. I hope that somebody's in Guthrie watching us tonight, but I got a feeling they're all here.
A century of football, and they finally got the goal. That's remarkable.
12 wins and 2 losses for Guthrie.
So difficult to go through a season, be a state champion, be undefeated.
They all want to touch it.
And they all want those rings. And they deserve it.
We're going to take a timeout, and then we'll wrap it up. It's the 5A state championship game in Stillwater, and the Guthrie Bluejays are holding the gold ball.